Troy, Missouri, a picture of suburban tranquility, harbored a sinister secret. Beneath the manicured lawns and friendly smiles, a chilling tale lurked in the shadows. This is the story of a friendship that turned into a nightmare.
I was battling a relentless foe cancer. Diagnosed with terminal liver cancer, my world had shrunk to doctor's visits and chemotherapy. Through it all, my husband Russ remained a steadfast pillar of support.
Betsy's spirits were lifted by her close friend Pam Hupp. Pam became a constant presence in Betsy's life, offering emotional support and companionship. But beneath the surface, a sinister plan was brewing, orchestrated by the very person Betsy had trusted most. Pam, with her bubbly personality and eagerness to help, had wormed her way deep into Betsy's life. She presented herself as a loyal friend, but beneath the surface lurked a calculating mind. Betsy, in her vulnerable state, clung to Pam's support, unaware that she was being drawn into a web of manipulation. Pam's manipulation was subtle, yet effective. She became indispensable to Betsy, always there in times of need. Days before Betsy's death, Pam made a shocking move. She convinced Betsy to make her the beneficiary of a $150,000 life insurance policy. The stage was set, the pieces in place for Pam's sinister plan to unfold. December 27, 2011. The day began like any other, but a sinister shadow soon fell over the Faria household. Russ returned home to a scene of unimaginable horror. Betsy lay dead, sprawled on the living room floor, the victim of multiple stab wounds.
Panic seized me. I frantically called 911, my voice thick with terror and disbelief. My wife, stabbed, so much blood.
The idyllic peace of Troy was shattered, replaced by the piercing wail of sirens. Suspicion immediately fell on Russ, turning his nightmare into a living hell. The investigation began immediately, and suspicion quickly fell on Russ. The crime scene, insurance policy change, and Russ's 911 call all pointed towards him. The police, convinced they had their man, disregarded Russ's alibi. Russ, reeling from his wife's death, was now the prime suspect. The police, blinded by their theory, missed the real culprit lurking in the shadows. The trial was a media frenzy. The prosecution painted a picture of a callous husband, driven to murder by greed and desperation.
I was sentenced to life in prison, my pleas of innocence echoing hollowly in the courtroom.
Hope, however, was not entirely extinguished. Russ's family refused to believe he was capable of such a heinous act. Their persistence would soon pay off as cracks began to appear in the prosecution's case, cracks that would ultimately lead them to the real mastermind behind Betsy's murder. As the new legal team delved deeper, Pam Hupp's intricate web of lies began to unravel. Her facade of helpfulness crumbled under scrutiny, exposing a calculating and manipulative individual. Witnesses stepped forward, casting doubt on Pam's alibi and highlighting inconsistencies in her story. The police, forced to confront their tunnel vision, began to realize they had been deceived. Pam Hupp, once seen as a devoted friend, was now the prime suspect in a twisted game of betrayal and murder. As the investigation tightened, Pam Hupp took a drastic step. In 2016, she lured Louis Gumpenberger to her home and shot him dead. Pam claimed it was self-defense, saying Gumpenberger tried to rob her with a knife, but the evidence suggested otherwise. It appeared Pam had staged the scene to frame Louis as Russ Faria's accomplice. Detectives, now familiar with her deceitful tactics, saw through her ruse. Pam's mask of innocence shattered, exposing the ruthless killer she truly was.
Breaking news.
In 2019, justice was finally served. Russ Faria was exonerated after 4 agonizing years behind bars for a crime he didn't commit.
Pam Hupp, facing mounting evidence, entered an offered plea in 2021 for Betsy Faria's murder. She was sentenced to life in prison without parole.
The tale of Pam Hupp reminds us that appearances can be deceiving. How well do we really know those closest to us? And how could a friend be so deadly? Ultimately, justice prevailed, but the scars of betrayal remain.